the latest top tips, reviews and advice, please subscribe below.
Hello and welcome to Attwoolls Outdoors with me, Mike. Today I'm giving you guys a bit of review on a updated product for the 2020 season with Vango. So this here is the Vango Anantara 650 XL. So it's kind of the updated version for the 2020 season of the Anantara 600 XL. Same in terms of the length, the width, anything like that. It's just a few tweaks on the internal side of things to be aware of. So as a broad spectrum overview, the Anantara uses Vango's sort of Sentinel Pro fabric. So it's a really good 106 gram, good sort of weight, double ripstop fabric. So it's very reinforced. So it's not like if you had a small little rip or with age as UV attacks it. It's not good as suddenly if one rip's going to carry on going. It's isolated that single point. So it's a great feature of this really good pro fabric. What you've also got as well is air, so it's quick and easy to put up. And I've put the Anantara up on my own, as you can see from our own Attwoolls pitching videos, within sort of 12 minutes. So it's something that can be done on their own happily, or if need be, if you've got a second pair of hands, does make life a little bit easier. As we've got a tent situated at the moment, we've got it in with the front awning. So effectively the Anantara really starts here and works its way back. So it does seem like a bit of a monster as we've got it in place at the moment, but rest assured it's not as it's big. The front awning is an optional extra, as you would come to expect. There also are a few things like a sun canopy and a front extension. So sun canopy, as the name suggests, is just one single pole, material on top, gives you a bit more shelter on that multifunctional door. Alternatively, the extension is kind of the same as the canopy, but it's open. So it's just where this pole finishes is an open fronted canopy, but there is a zip so you can add on and add on again. And these zips actually, it's a full length zip running right down from the bottom over the top and down the other side. So it's a real physical firm attachment, not like clipping in or throwing straps over the top. It feels as part of the tent rather than sort of an afterthought. The tent pretty much made its name really in 2019 as one of the tents everyone wanted to see, and there's a massive sort of following of this particular model. Main reason because it's the sheer size you get inside of it. Partly of that is down to the villa construction, so how Vango have created more upright beams to give more internal height. I mean, you can get furniture close to the end, but we'll have a look when we go inside about that in particular. One thing I'd also like about is the webbing storm straps. It's made to be a very strong and sturdy tent, and that goes right down to what you're anchoring it down with. So you've got storm straps across everywhere, so not only on the front where you'd expect it and the back, but also the sides as well. So it's a really quite well thought out model. Yet again, also quite a unique feature is this mesh door in the canopy area. That allows you to have the front doors completely obviously sealed up. This is when it's chucking down rain, you can walk in and out here without the water coming down straight into the tent itself. So that again for the Anantara is a massive tick why it's been sort of chosen over sort of other models. On the front, you can't really see because the front awning is in position, but you've got a 16 dip position optional front door, so you can have it sort of a quarter open, half open, and we've done a separate sort of video on that particularly you can check out if need be, and all the different functionality of it. You've got crystal clear windows located obviously here to allow plenty of light, as well as things like skylights, but we can talk more about that when we go inside the tent in just a moment. Low level ventilations throughout the tent as well, so great vents underneath the windows to help with air circulation, keep it fresher inside, especially if it's a polyester model. You haven't got that breathability that you have with the polycotton. So if you are going across Europe, you could sort of, depending on where you go, possibly put up with this, but really polycotton might be a better solution. So for the UK market, this is perfectly fine. If you go in sort of northern France, then yes. But generally the joys of this over polycotton is a little bit lighter in terms of its pack weight. Pack size is roughly about the same, but it's the quickness of drying. Polyester is a lot quicker to dry, so you haven't got the hassle of having to get it all out, pitch it and leave it a good few hours to dry. You know, it dries fairly quickly, quite happily. And certainly for something this size, ideally you want an area to put it up, because really tents shouldn't be packed away wet at all really. So, but let's have a look more on the inside of the tent and talk through a few more features that certainly changed for 2020 and also is very unique to this particular model. So now we're inside the Anantara, you can kind of get a bit more of a grasp of certainly the layers that you have in the tent in terms of the main section. So you're sleeping at the back, your main living area, and then also the canopy area at the front. I've sort of left the front door in sort of situ at the moment, and you can see you can have it as multifunctional. So one section, you can, or even if need be, kind of put it back to another section. And you've got little clips in here just to reinforce that it's not all the weight's not residing on the zips itself. Alternatively, what you could always do is have it like a veranda, so just open the top section and drop it down if you wanted to. So let's just open this up nice and easily. That can roll to the side as you see it, but for the time being, let's just leave it there. So the canopy area, great sort of depth, really nice width, and certainly comes with the ground sheet in the area here. There's like an overlap with the sides as well to make it feel like a sewn in ground sheet, but having the flexibility that if you don't have the canopy on like this, because obviously it's a fair size, you can leave this open to the elements. Doesn't matter if you're cooking and spill something on there, it's going to go straight into the grass rather than in that. Yeah, again, what you can also do as an idea is flip it in half, so leave it halfway pegged, flip it on the other side, have half as a sort of a sort of your dry area, half as a wet area where you've got that rain safe door as well. Moving into section, you've also got windows inside on the one end over there to allow plenty of light, but also the privacy you want to. And the same with the front panels. There's clear PVC windows as we just saw, but you can get the privacy when you want to as well. That rain safe door, I think, really is a great little feature, and certainly the door in place as well gives you the ability that you can seal it away and keep yourself all nice and neat. The divisional door between the sort of the canopy area and the main living area is completely, it can zip back completely. As you see, we've got it here. We've got it sort of half open as you would most likely have it, and use the mesh vent in there to allow circulation in the tent. Now, because it's a polyester fabric, breathability is very key. You're relying heavily on the vents you've got inside to sort of help fight condensation, which really is a battle, certainly with tents with air beams and sealed in ground sheets. So low level ventilation, as we saw on the outside, is going to try and help create you an airflow throughout a tent to make it feel fresher and a bit more area inside itself. Throughout the tent, you've got curtains as well. All of them are zipped, so you can zip up without any problems, and you get a much more solid and better coverage throughout that. Or if you want to, it gives some flexibility. If you can bring it down a little bit to allow some airflow and some privacy, but also a bit more visibility as well. So that's really quite nice. And all of them basically have a little roll pocket just beneath this area here, and a little toggle just to keep it kind of at bay. But certainly with sort of in hotter climates, or certainly the UK summers we've been having thus far, that mesh area really does help quite a lot. The whole door can be completely unzipped and toggle backwards, if you will. And again, the zip on the bottom can be detached, so it lays nice and flat, and you can roll that aside, so you've got a real nice seamless walkway from one area to the other. So again, if you had that front door in place and the canopy in, that can be sort of your cookery area, and this is your extra large living area as well. I'll say banner. Moving into living area now, it's actually, as you can see here, feels very, very spacious, which is not something that you would always feel with sort of tents this size sometimes. And I said, talking about that, it's down to sort of the construction of the beams itself. That sort of more upright stance means that me being about 6'2" or so, I look sort of tiny in this. I can stand up right to the edge, no problem, nice and close, which means, as I said, you can get furniture closer to the edge. So it means that it kind of spreads the furniture out, means you have more usable space. Funnily enough, this is actually the same size as the Illusion 800. So this is kind of what its successor, if you will, and you can walk into the Illusion and walk into this, and straight away you go, wow. And it's the same with other brands, to be fair. In certain models, you walk in that and you go, why is that film so much bigger? And I've done it a lot of time with sort of general customers who are going, taking one, taking the other, which one's bigger? And you go, actually, this is smaller in terms of footprint, but feels bigger in terms of usable space. So that's why the Anantara has been sort of a real big hit in its first season in 2019. Doors either side, which all with full mesh as well, to allow that circulation of air, and also give you versatility of if the weather's changing, you can chop and change which door you go in and out. With a divisional door in place between the canopy and living area, there is an option of an extra bedroom, so you can sleep actually 8 in here quite comfortably. So an extra bedroom will happily fit in this area here, but really I think for daytime use, you would take it down, put the bedding in the back section at the back. That way you can utilise the area, because I mean that is essentially a quarter of your living space, which you are taking up with bedding just for overnight. So great option to have, and a great feature to, if is and when you need it, but you also have the flexibility to not always have to use it. One thing again is the Vango's oversized, supersized beams. So it's 13 centimeters, nice big diameter, so really chunky. Yeah, again, really good and strong in the wind itself. Each beam is the same as one another. So if you want to be, say, for peace of mind, you can get a spare inner tube. Costs you about 45 quid, something around that mark. And you can go in any of the beams. Alternatively, if you had, say, God forbid, an issue, things do happen. Say the front beam went down, you can remove the middle beam, put in the front beam, the tent still stays up. So, and the joys of that means that this may droop a little bit, but the suspension of the rest of the tent happily keeps it up. So it's things like that that it's where it's very well thought out in terms of the way it's designed. Obviously, the elephant in the room is the fact that really dark bedrooms at the back now for 2020, to the point where it's not too dark, so it's not completely blackout, which I think actually is a good thing for once, because it means that you're not in pitch darkness, and certainly with kids who may be scared of the dark, you've got the versatility that you've got a mesh vent located here, so you can more than happily open that up if you wanted to allow a bit of little light in without having to worry about it being a bit more overkill. That might even leave that in there, but the darker bedrooms really do make a massive difference. You've also got a flat instep into the bedroom as well, so you haven't got to worry about tripping in or out of anything at all. And yet again, with zip dividers between all the sections, it gives you the flexibility of having it all open if you wanted to, or division it off into different bedrooms. For 2020 season, they have mixed up a little bit, so they've actually widened the middle bedroom, so there's now one 60 bedroom right in the heart of it, which means that pretty much any air bed, any camp bed is going to fit in there, not only because it's 160 wide, but there's also that extra depth throughout the whole inner tent of being at sort of 250, 245. So it means any camp beds, you're not going to have any issues fitting it lengthways in, because that was one of the sort of criticisms, certainly in the past. So if I can roll this up out of the way. So what I do, I use the cable entry point in the top to just stuff it there for a second. That'll do. So certainly the back here means that extra bit of depth allows you to have camp beds right at the back here. And as you can see from back there, it's quite dark inside of here. So hopefully you get a much better night's sleep. An increased ventilation point at the back really helps to help with that airflow. And what you've also got is still storage pockets built into the inner to help put things like torches, certainly when you wake up in the crack of, well, what you might be the crack of dawn, middle of the night, you can sort of go to the toilet and find your way quite happily. So it helps just to organise things and declutter the inner bedroom as well. Also with Vango, you've got their Skytrack system, which is sort of embedded into the beams itself, allows you to create hanging points from any point on the actual beams as well, or alternatively, additional storage pockets. You can hang down here, and you can check out our own sort of video on the Skytrack system in a bit more detail if you're wondering sort of what the ins and outs of that is. As well as additional flexible lighting you can put in there to create, keep your head space, but still allow lighting and remote control. So we've got separate videos for all those which you're more welcome to check out. One thing also to bear in mind is you've got cable entry points throughout the tent. So nearly every side you've got one. So you've one on the left hand side just here. So you have the mains hook up inside the tent without having to leave the door open the whole time. One tucked away, or squirreled away if you will, behind the bedroom section just here. And another one sort of in the front panel which you can slide out through. So it's small little things like that do make quite a bit of difference, and really it's that extra 5 or 10% in thought goes into a tent, which takes it from a good tent to a bestseller. And that's why something like this was certainly for 2020 one of the best sellers. That extra 5% comes into place with the bag. So we're not talking a kind of a sort of a duffel bag, if you will. It's a solid base, wheeled, two-handled, very much drop down over bag. So it's something that you shouldn't have any problems getting it back in, and you can, using our pitching videos and our pitching method, more importantly at Attwoolls, you shouldn't have an issue getting it back in. So they even give you a little bit of a key. That's the maximum width you want to get inside the tent. So you can roll it to that width, fold it up, roll it, so put this at the end of the tent itself. Then you've got compression straps built into the bag, which actually sits externally. So you can actually lay it in there, over the top of it, clip into it if you will, and then if you want to compress it, to really tighten that pack down, so you can compress it before it actually goes in the bag. So once it's in there, you've got another set of compression straps to tighten it again, and yet again squeeze it to make it as small as you can to get it in the boot. So you've got two sequences, which works out really nicely. The double handles really help to reinforce it when you carry it into the boot, because as you can imagine, it's not the lightest tent on the market, but it's one that offers plenty of space. Going forward, firstly, as we're talking outside, there's a new range of extras for this particular model, as well as things like skyliners and sky shields. So an internal line to help with condensation, like a double glazing kind of effect. So internally as well as externally. The sky shield, or sky or roof protector, if you want to call it, protects the roof against sort of UV damage, keeps it clean and dry, and that way when you pack it away, you haven't got to worry. But all the extras and all other information is on our website in the link below. But that really is kind of our Attwoolls video review on the Anantara 650 for the 2020 season. So let us know what you think, and see if you can come and see this one at our indoor showroom in Gloucestershire.